I really want us to drop some nuggets really fast and leave something tangible for our audience on today and talk about boundaries. Because one of the things that we struggle with the most as women, especially, is boundaries. So I wanted to take the time and go around and have everyone tell something that they've done, whether you're applying it right now or not, that can help somebody that's watching us help them set boundaries. Because think about it, we're balancing family, career, a lot of you all kids, trying to have a little bit of a social life, and sometimes there seems to not be enough time in the day. So I'll kick it off. I remember, and because I keep telling myself, I need to do this again. Back in 2021, I stole this from Michelle Obama. Literally before the new year started, it was at the end of 2020, going into 2021. I went to my calendar before I even got booked for anything, and I marked off 2 weekends a month. That's how determined I was. And I put booked. So if someone called me, whether it was friends, family, opportunities, I could literally look at my calendar and tell whoever it was, sorry, I'm booked, because I needed to prioritize some me time at that time. That was probably because I was still really busy working during, that was during COVID. I was still really busy. However, it really truly helped me to create space for myself. I felt the best I had ever felt. And then I haven't done it since. So I struggle with boundaries. So I would love to know what you ladies do. Patty, you were mentioning earlier that you have a friend that her husband knows from 11 to 4, don't come in here. That's a boundary. You know what I mean? She literally set that time aside. That's for her work. But how do you all create boundaries, and what do those really look like for you all?
Nasima, do you want to go first and we can work
Heck
back?
no, because I'm so bad with boundaries. I'm like,
Dang, I
see
thought
what
it was
y'all
just
gonna
me. I
say.
was trying to get out of that. Okay. Okay,
Or
I'll go
maybe you don't
first.
do it now. What would you like your boundaries to look like?
Yeah. Yeah. All right, this is gonna sound kind of crazy. So today, literally today, this is a super on time question, and I'm gonna try to keep my emotions in check with it because today was one of those days I said, "Oh my God, like everybody needs me today." My phone has been going crazy. And it's just one of those days. And I think for me, the hard part is feeling like, why it's not even that like, I don't mind that people ask me for things. I don't mind that people find me to be a resource. I think that's great. I like being a dependable friend and resource for people. That's fine. For me, it I don't like leave me alone. That's how I felt today. Because it's the mental load, the mental tax that comes with having to think for people. And so it was the fact that so many people were reaching out to me today. It was the fact that I was on certain meetings and I'm like, why am I having to think for people? Why do I have to keep taking this on? And so one of the things that I have been practicing, and this, I mean, last 2-ish to 3 months, I have been almost like kicking myself because I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? And I don't know if it's necessarily the boundary is I'm not doing it. Can you do this for me? Can I do this? Can I spend time? Can no. The answer is just, no, I can't. But I've got somebody who can help you. And so I've done a much better job with delegating, expanding my team. A couple of my teammates are on here right now. I got to give big shout out to Bridget Oliver in the comments.
Bridget.
Oh my gosh, this girl has helped me eh, free up my mind in ways that have allowed me to do so much more. So I guess long and the short is I'm learning how to say no. I'm also learning how to delegate, and what that has actually helped me realize is that one, I should have done it sooner. So if you're having a hard time delegating and being a control freak, don't be like me, okay? Don't be a control freak. Realize that you can actually help enable someone to become better. Stop robbing people of the opportunity to not only one help you but learn, right? To be better, to nurture skills and develop skills. And when we take on things just because it's easier, right? Like sometimes I've always been that person, like, it's just easier if I just do it. Stop being that person,
Yeah.
because then you got to keep doing it, right? Take the
Hmm.
extra time, teach, uh, delegate, and that's my spiel, man. Delegate, do it sooner, man. Don't be one of these crazy business owners who have to have their hand in everything. I've been that for too long, and I have literally exhausted myself. So there's
That's
that.
good.
I mean, I saw this video on Instagram, and it was a mom and two daughters trying to take a picture together. And the eldest daughter kept putting her hand and gripping the youngest daughter's arm. And the theme was about boundaries. And the little girl just kept looking at her sister and said, "Don't do that. Like, don't touch me." And she just kept doing it. And eventually the photo shoot fell apart and the mom was really frustrated. But the lesson in the photo was, why don't you understand my boundary, right? And how this is instilled from childhood, right? So like if you were told to sit, even if you were posing for a picture and you're in an uncomfortable setting, you're always told to compromise something that makes you happy and prioritizes your safety or comfort, even at a fundamental survival level, for the sake of others, for the sake of the photo, for the sake of what mom wanted, for because sister wanted to put her hand on me in the photo. So I think it's something that we have to really sit privately with and think a little bit deeper on, go deeper in maybe a meditative or a prayerful state to understand, why is it that I'm willing to compromise when something makes me uncomfortable? So Kehlani's describing a very standard day for an entrepreneur, for someone who's building community, who's constantly needed and tugged and pulled from different directions. Well, simply in a scarcity mindset where you feel like you have to respond to everybody and you have to create a solution for everybody, and you feel that if you don't, you lose value, that's an issue. That's the deeper issue, right? So, or we say, hey, I want to, in this setting, I'd like to create a boundary that after a phone call that I have, I need to recharge. I need to look at the sun. I need to sit for a minute. So I'm going to block my calendar after every longer call or a meeting like this for at least 30 minutes. I can't compromise that, because those 30-minute breaks just enable me to recharge, whether I run downstairs to grab some water, step outside and take a walk, go to my meditation rug and sit down and just think, right? There's something that you have to do within the middle of your day, in between calls and in between high stress or highly energetic moments, to be able to recuperate some of your energy. And then I think the theme needs to be, let me check in with myself and say, what is it about me? What did I experience as a young person that created a habit within me that at every time someone asks me to do something that I don't want to do, that I say yes anyway, right? Because all of this whole talk about boundary setting is kind of newer in terms of being popular through lots of different great psychologists that share this information about how healthy boundaries are so important, and that shows up in the form of communications with partners, friends, business associates, how you handle your business, how you manage your calendar. And I think the deeper thought is to really sit with yourself and say, what is it about you that feels that you have to compromise something you don't feel comfortable with in order to appease somebody else, even if that means giving up an opportunity? And then I think it becomes easier to set some of those boundaries and say, hey, like a solution to what Kehlani I thought would be, hey, after a wire meeting, after a big Zoom call, you're highly pumped, you're on, you're performing, you've got 30 people watching you, you've got 50 people checking in with questions. Take a 30-minute break, everything goes off, even the lights sometimes, and just recharge. Check back in with yourself and be able to kind of re-energize to go to the next thing. That has been something that I'm implementing. Actually, I'm in my home office because when I'm at work, I for 8 hours, I don't even drink water. I'm sitting there and I'm so focused, and I'm like, that's not healthy for this fitness journey that I'm on, or for this mental journey that I'm on. So I like to be home, because now I've gone down twice today and I've prepared healthy meals twice today. I'm hydrated. I had my collagen. I did my things. These are my boundaries. That 15 minutes in between longer phone calls enables me. So that's what I'm implementing. That's what I saw. And I do think that in my journey, I've learned it's a deeper question that stems from childhood. Like, why am I doing things that I'm uncomfortable with to make someone else happy?
Mm-hmm. And I think for me, it's like really listening to my body. And sometimes that's a little bit hard. So I've had to implement some technology around it. Like I just got this, I don't know, my hand is weird, like this ring, right? And it tells you like your readiness score at the beginning of the day, and like really listening to that, because I have been known to just push through to the point of burnout. And I don't want to get there, especially with 3 kids. If something were to happen to me, like, like who would take care of these kids? And so I really have to listen to myself and be okay with not going so hard on certain days. So the boundaries are more internal. The boundaries are to make sure I am the best me I can be so that I can show up for the other people in my life.
That's so good. I,
And
I
can
wanted I
I?
wanted to say, if you don't mind, real fast,
Yeah,
Kehlani, it's so
go ahead.
funny when Patty talks about getting to the root of the issue. What I've been noticing about myself in my